GM, everyone. Welcome to our today's or this week's Developers Guild session. My name is Bjorn. I'm the dev rep from Super Team Germany, and I'm super excited for this session because we're gonna sharing so much cool alpha, intel, however you want to call it, and we're gonna have really great guest here today. But before we start with this, can I get a GM in the chat to see who's there? I see GM from Lucas, so I see Munich is there. Emmanuel, nice to see you again. So cool. Yeah, we had a really cool CK compression thing going on last time. Jivan, nice to meet you. Actually, I'm so sorry. I have no idea. We have to talk about this later and get in touch. Janine is here. ZK is here. So the Berlin front is also here. Really great to see you all, guys. GM, thanks for being here. I think you're going to learn and you're going to have a lot of fun today. As I said before, today we are joined by Nick from Dialect. For those of you who have no idea who Dialect actually is, but have heard about Blinks, Dialect are the guys hustling behind the scenes, making this so awesome. So they are pushing forward, of course, with the community to make Blinks even more accessible, nicer, and everything like that. And if you ever seen the Blinks repository, you will see that there's like a dialect in front of the slash, and this is them. So we are in good hands today. And Nick also is a super cool guy. I met him, I talked to him, and I'm super happy to introduce him right now on stage. Please give him a warm welcome, everyone, to Nick.
Hey everyone. Yeah, nice to meet you all. Hey, yeah, thanks. I'm Nick. I'm head of engineering at Dialect, and yeah, today I'm planning to tell you all about blinks and actions. Actually, there is two stuff together; they can't live separately. And yeah, we're gonna dive deep into what's currently possible with the blinks, do some practical experience end to end from creating a project and deploying everything in the cloud, and even filling out a registry form to get whitelisted. So yeah.
So it's gonna be the whole process, right? From starting to whitelisting, everything we're gonna do today in a live coding. I'm super excited for this. If you feel ready, I would share your screen and then you can start.
Yep, sounds good.
Nice. Let's do this.
Cool. Okay. So I already say there's actions and blinks. Yeah, I guess most of you have heard on the blink word previously, but in reality there is actions under the hood of every blink, and I'll dig into it a bit deeper. So blink is just a front end. So blink is this kind of a card that users see in the Twitter or like on the Dial.to website, and basically it can be embedded everywhere. For example, in future we might add like a Twitch integration or Reddit or whatever. And by the way, all our code that renders these blinks is open source at github.com/dialectlabs. And if you feel fine to contribute, please do it so we can power every website with Blink. Yeah, and as I mentioned, currently there is two Blinks clients implementation. One is Blinks Web, which allows everyone to get experience on the twitter.com and x.com websites, and it's integrated in the wallets. So it's like your wallet acts as a Blink client using our SDK. And also we recently announced Blinks for mobile, so soon Blinks experience coming to mobile as well. Yeah, and if we go next, behind every Blink there is an action. There is Solana action, and action is a backend for every Blink. So action is like a API which returns your JSON format is by the Solana action specification. And as you see, the JSON has like a set of fields like icon, label, title, description. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. and it's specified. So it's like always same variable, same naming, just different values. Yeah, and this is how Blinks know how to work with action. And this is example how everything like maps together. So we have icon, and Blinks know that there is an icon field in the action, and it knows how to render it. And for example, there is a title, and Blinks know that there is a title field, and it can render it. And there is description. So as you see, Blinks and actions are very tightly coupled together, and like Blinks basically cannot live without actions. And the coolest thing here is that Blinks, obviously, as many of you know, can be interacted. So there is a specific workflow behind it. And this is how it can be executed. We'll just like view on the most simple flow, how it goes from the end-to-end experience, from the user interaction to the Solana chain. It's a bit trickier under the hood, but currently it's everything you need to know to build your own action. Yeah. So basically, when user sees an action client or a Blink detects this action, and Blink sent a GET request to action service. And then action service obviously responds to the Blink client with some metadata. It's image, title, description, basically this JSON that I showed previously. Since it's everything specified, Blink know how to render it, and Blink obviously use this metadata to render it for the user. Yeah, and as a result, user gets this kind of card. Then user can interact with Blink. User can click action or submit any input, and then the Blink sends a post request to the action service. So and also Blink sends a user public key, because public key is necessary for many scenarios when you want to build transaction that user want to interact with. Then you need to pass public key. And action service accepts a post request with a public key and compose some kind of transaction with some business logic and sends it to the Blink client. And then Blink interacts with the user wallet. So let's say it could be Phantom or Backpack or Softlayer or also OKX, like any other wallet that had integrated a Blink SDK. And user just prompted a normal transaction signing window, like on any other website, in any other dApp. User approves transaction, and transaction goes directly to the Solana blockchain. So, like, till there is one GET request and one post request. First one to get metadata, the second one to get the transaction, and that's it. Very simple. And this is how everything looks like from the front-end side. So when GET request is received, this is how Blink card looks like. Then it can be in the execution state, and the Blink knows that like we are waiting for transaction from user, or like we are waiting for transaction in the Solana cluster, and it will display the in progress state. And then Blink client also will track the transaction result. So if transaction completed successfully, then it will show the completed. If not, it will display obviously the transaction error or any custom error message that action provided. Yeah, and that's basically it regarding Blink Lifecycle. And now, I think almost everyone heard that Blink, it's like a short form of blockchain link. And as you all know, the links usually have some kind of representation, like usually it's like HTTPS, slash some domain name slash some path or whatever. And same for Blinks. Blinks also has this kind of representation. And there is actually 3 ways to represent a Blink. The first one is Solana-action prefix. Obviously it doesn't look like a URL. So it's not really good URL to share in the social network, or no one shares this kind of URL on X, but this is good for machine-to-machine communication. And for example, in future, if you get like mobile clients that support Blinks, it's a good action to encode in the QR code. And for example, you'll be able to see the Blink behind QR code using this action, using this link. But basically, since it's not a typical link, there is no link preview. So x.com, for example, cannot render it like a fancy card with your image and like this. And obviously not supported client cannot use this URL at all. So it's good for technical purpose, but for end users, it's probably means nothing. The second way is to share your website. For example, alice.com/donate. And Blink clients use some special mechanism to detect action behind your normal URL. For example, you share this URL, and Blink clients know that every website that can act as an action has action.json file. And it knows that this file always lives in the root of the website, so it can access it. And this is the format of the file. The file basically tells the Blink client how to map the path to the action API. For example, in this case, it will be like /donate/ let's say some public key, and it will use this mapping rule to map this URL to actions.alice.com/donate/this public key. This is a good approach if you, for example, has a website and you want like share your website URL on Twitter, and it will be represented as a Blink to users who has Blink client installed, or if user doesn't have Blink client installed, they will see like your own link preview, and they still will be able to click on your link and interact with your website. So there is like a win-to-win for everyone, for users with a Blink, because they don't need to do an extra click and go to your website, and for users without Blink client too, because they still can interact with your website. But of course, let's say if you're indie developer or you want to poke with Blink technology and you don't want to spin a website, this approach wouldn't work for you. That's why we have a third approach. We call it interstitial website. So interstitial website, it's a kind of special website that helps, that can render an action. So for example, dial.to is our interstitial website. It accepts action URL in the action query, in the URL query parameter, and it knows that there is an action URL link, so it can use it to render on the website directly. And basically, let's say if you have only backend API, like your action API, which returns a JSON file, is probably the best way to share your action with everyone, because you don't need to build UI. You get everything out of the box using the interstitial website. You don't need to configure any link previews, and plus you also can use like basically everyone will be able to use your action. Again, same story as with a website. Users with Blink client will be able to interact with the Blink on the Twitter directly or any other website, and users without Blink client can just click on this website and it will point directly to your action with a good UI with good connect wallets experience and stuff like this. So if you don't have UI, if you don't have website, it's the best way to share for you. And this is actually what we are going to use today for action, because I'm going to concentrate only on the API stuff, on the backend stuff, and we'll just use it as a front end for our action. Yeah, and I think that's basically it, what you need to know to build your action. Yeah, of course, there are some details like how the GET request exactly should looks like, POST request should looks like, but I think it's better to look at everything on the example. So I think we can dive deep into code. And for today coding session, I plan to use Hona. If you haven't heard about Hona, don't worry, it's just like a Express or Fastify. So it's basically just like a very tiny approach to write server, like more modern alternative to Express with like pretty familiar syntax. And it has a very cool developer experience with reload and stuff like this. And since I previously said I'm going to show you end-to-end experience, I need to deploy my action somewhere, and I plan to use Cloudflare workers for this because it's free, which is good, and it's fast to deploy. Like literally with one command line, you don't need like to stop a Docker container or whatever. And yeah, that's why developer experience is good here. And also, I'm going to use our Dialect website, which is a good place to develop and test your Blink locally. So, yeah, let's dive into it.
Amazing, Nick. One short thing. We got a question already.
Sure.
The question is, in this flow, what happens when the transaction does not confirm? I think it's related to the action in the end.
Yeah. So if the transaction does not confirm, the Blink client will display you like an error like this. It has some kind of default message like this, transaction error, please try again, or you can specify your own message in case of error. Yeah.
Cool.
I guess it answered the question. Yep. All right. So let's get back to the code. And I'm going to use the same Git repository that Leo used in the previous session about minting NFT. I'm going to reuse some parts of his code. But first, I'll set up action from with one line with template that I created previously. And don't worry, it's a kind of long command, but we'll share everything in this repository. So yeah, you'll be able to just create from the template like I'm doing right now later too. So template asks for like application name. I called like mint NFT action. No, we don't want to deploy right now. And see, it created the folder. It also installed like node modules, and there is an index.js file by default. So I'll just quickly show what's inside. There is a few lines. Don't worry, I'll explain every line. First thing, and I also open the specification here. There's like a get request, options request, and post request. So we'll go one by one. First one, what is options? Basically, most likely you didn't face it previously because normally your API on the same domain as your website. But since actions are on the different domains, like for example, user is on the x.com domain, but action could be like on the any other domain, let's say alice.com. So the browsers by default doesn't allow to send this request. And to allow browser to do this, you need to configure cross-origin resource sharing in your service. And yeah, I know it might be sounds like strange or scary, but in reality, you just need to return 3 HTTP headers and like this. Like you really don't need to think about it. Just copy paste. There is helpers. There is well specified how it should looks like exactly. And also later I will show we have a validation tool in our dial.to website that also validates the value of these headers. So yeah, and this basically configures everything what we need to care only about action logic and don't care about like HTTP layer anymore. Then we'll go to the GET request. So according to specification, you need like to have GET request and GET response, obviously. And this is how it should looks like. It should have a title, description, icon, and the label. It could also have like disabled state, the link state, or error. Links is just the buttons, just like more technical term, but the blinks will render every link just like a button. And as you see here, like title, send me some sol, description, this simple action that allows the debug creator, some icon, and label tip 0.1 sol. And if I run it now, I need to mint NFT action. If I run it now, it just started on the local host and I can access it. And as you see, this is just a JSON file according to specification. And the coolest thing that I can just take this URL, go to dial.to website. I'll use DivNet for today's session, but there is also like a cool landing page and mainnet, which allows you to showcase your Blink. I'll show how you can do it later. Yeah, but I'll use DivNet for the day. And I can just enter this URL. And yeah, as you see, it rendered everything exactly according to what my get endpoint returns. So it's same title, same description, because since action is a specification, Blink client knows what kind of fields to expect, and yeah, it knows how to render. And even, for example, I just want to show that it's just under the hood. It's just a simple GET request. For example, yeah, just same content as we saw when we like it was here. Yeah. And I'll show how links works later. Now I'll just get back to the post request. So when user clicks the button, the Blink client sends a post request, and you need to send a transaction for user to sign. For example, in the template, by default, it prepares just a simple SOL transfer transaction. And yeah, it will ask user to sign. And also action post response in the specification, it looks like, just let me find it. Yeah, so it should have a base64 encoded transaction. And this is what like it actually sends by default. And if, for example, I click this, it will prompt me to connect wallet. Yeah, and it will just ask me to sign transaction. Currently, yeah, by default use mainnet, so Cloudflare wouldn't give me to sign transaction. Yeah, it's okay. And yeah, basically that's it. 2 endpoints. one endpoint, just different methods, one get and one post. So now let's customize it to mint NFT use case, and I'll use the code from Leo from previous session. Let's just change title, for example, mint NFT with Blink. Description: this is a Blink to mint NFT. Icon URL I will keep the same, and label, it's the title of this button. I'll change, mint NFT. I refresh the page, and yep, here it is. And of course, like, you can use whatever you want here. It's like basically just something corresponding to your app. And now let's just reuse the same code that Leo wrote previously to mint NFT to compose the transaction. I'll just modify it a bit and I'll explain why. So let's just copy everything from code from previous session. I'll change this prepare transaction section. Okay. So I'll just roughly explain the mint NFT code because it was well explained the previous session, but still. So first we create a Metaplex SDK called Yumi. Then we need to use our admin signer to sign the NFT to make it like able to add to collection. Then we generate an asset. Then we fetch metadata for the collection. And then we create transaction send confirm. And the problem with this code currently that it was designed to run locally, and it was used a local key pair to sign mint transaction. But in our use case, we want the user to be prompted like to sign transaction. And this is a bit different use case from what we were doing previously locally. So we need to modify it a bit. And yeah, just let me import wallet. Wallet is just my key pair that can sign transaction to add NFT to collection. Yeah. And here, what we need to change? Basically here. The Yumi use is like you can add any plugins to Metaplex SDK, and signer identity is just a plugin that will be used to sign. And in this case, we don't need to use admin signer, but we want to use a user signing identity. So let's say I use this wallet, it's D2 Q3, then I need to use this identity to sign. How can I do it? I need to use this public key and specify it in the transaction. But of course, we cannot access a user private key. We can't access user private key on the backend. So we need to create a no-op signer, right? Yeah. Create no-op signer, and we need to pass a public key of our user. And we need to wrap everything in the Yumi plugin. Yeah, so it will allow us to sign transaction later because we don't know the user private key on the backend. Then I keep everything the same, but I need here, obviously I need not to send and confirm transaction in the cluster, but I need to build transactions. So get its data, and then send it for user to sign. And there is command like build with latest block hash, and I can just pass Yumi. And then I need to serialize this transaction in like uint array. So it will be the raw bytes which we can send later for a user. And one more thing here, since previously in this add asset file, the admin signer is used to sign the NFT, and since like admin is a collection owner plus it's NFT owner, we need to use one key pair to sign. But in our use case, admin is a one key, the key A, and user is a different key, it's a key B. So in this case, we need to pass a different authority here. So it will be like our admin key, which owns a collection, so it can add the collection, the NFT to the collection. Yeah. And here, just need to use the result of this function and return the base64 encoded transaction to the user. And one more thing, I need to create my personal collection with my key pair, so I could use like I'll be like an admin of the collection. I'll just use the same script, create collection, and I think I can run it like this. Yeah, it will just give me the collection address, and thoroughly I will use my collection. And I can run action again. Okay, so we'll see. I guess if I did everything right. I also want to change here to confirmed, just to make sure I don't wait longer than it's needed, because Solana is fast. And I think we're okay to just wait for confirm finalization. Yeah. And basically that's it. I think we can just try. You see, I clicked mint NFT and it logs me that there is post request, transaction was built successfully. So it asks me to approve transaction. You'll see. I'll approve it. And nothing happens. Interesting. Okay, let's try one more time. Let me see. Need to check if I have a DiffNet. I'm on the DiffNet network. Yes, I am. Okay. Okay, let's see what's going wrong here. So we use user public key to sign, create nope signer, authority, data authority, the wallet I used to create collection. Did I change the collection address? Let's just try the new collection address. Okay, let's see. Maybe I didn't copy paste the collection address correctly. It fetches collection right, but what's wrong? Build is latest block hash. Serialize. That's interesting. And there is no NFT, right? Okay, let me use a different wallet to sign, just to see. This is really, really strange. Let me just check something. Okay, maybe let's try to console log the transaction signature to see, try to find it in the Explorer to see what's going wrong. It doesn't sign. It doesn't sign the transaction with my admin wallet, which is strange because I pasted here. Oh, right. Yeah, it should be build and sign. Yeah. Because we didn't call that sign method. I just, yeah, there is two methods, build with the latest block hash and build and sign, which also sets the latest block hash, but also sign the transaction. So yeah, now I'll just reconnect the different wallet. And yeah, there is a signature now. Yep. And there's a transaction is completed. And I guess if we go to, yep, and there is my asset, and we can also just see it in the Explorer that it's like a real NFT. Yep, here it is, less than a minute. So finally, yeah, we minted transaction, or we minted NFT. Yeah, cool. Basically, this is a working action that can mint you an NFT and to any other user. So what's next? Let's say you built an action. Then obviously you want to use it on the Twitter, but you see this like warning, this action has not yet been registered. Only use it if you trust the source, and the action will not unfurl on Twitter or X until it's registered. Yeah. So as the first step, we need obviously to deploy it somewhere, and I'll use Cloudflare workers to deploy. I'll just call npm run deploy. I'll use my personal account. and it should give me my publicly accessible URL with the same code I just wrote. Yep, it gives me this URL with my action. Yeah, we can open it. We see it's same JSON response. And now I can just use this URL here. And also when like you use our Dialect website, there is a validation. It validates, like checks if metadata is Solana action compatible, if you have the course headers configured correctly, if your post request is working. Yeah, this is kind of like pre-flight check for you to make sure if you did everything correctly or not. And yeah, I can open it here. So yeah, the next step is to get your action registered. For this, we need to go to dial.to/register website and fill out a simple form. Again, why do we need to do it? For security reasons, we maintain like a public list of actions which are trusted, developed by trusted developers, and plus also the kind of benefits you can be showcased on our main page here, where all other wallets or all other actions, and we like randomly choose like 2 or 3 lucky actions that will be showcased today on top of everyone else actions. Yeah, cool. I like this. Okay. Okay,
I
so
like it
let's.
too. I like it too. Nick, you said Unfurl before.
Yeah.
Maybe you can explain a bit more what this is for this
Uh,
for the word.
yeah, I think it's like kind of a new port we introduced. Basically, there's a URL and you can unfurl it. So like get some kind of data behind this URL, and in our case, it's action data, and render it as a blink. Yeah. So basically, if we want URL to get rendered as a blink, we call it unfurl an action, and it will be represented as a blink. Yeah.
And you have to register also, so this Unfurl works on X, correct?
Yep, that's right. Yep. And like nowadays, it's very simple. It was a bit kind of hard because we had a very big queue in the beginning. There is what was like 200 applications from the devs who want to get registered. But now, like, you just fill a simple form and you can pass it in like, I think in one working day very easily.
And there's also getting started, right? Where also you could, if you don't remember the dial.to/register link, where you could also show, right?
Absolutely. There is our docs. There is also everything about actions as in the specification, plus some aspect stuff about security from us, how it works, why it's important, the link, how to get registered, some explanation, some tips and tricks, how to pass it super quickly within a few hours, and plus our Discord to raise a ticket if something going wrong. Yeah.
Amazing.
We'll
Okay, then.
share the link to our docs later too.
Nice.
Yeah, since I said I'll share the end-to-end experience, I'll just go with everything end-to-end. And yeah, actually, I filled this form previously just to make sure everything works, and it's already filled. So, but it's very simple. We want to know your name, your email to get in touch, your Telegram and Twitter. We ask as much as possible ways to contact you, because like if something goes wrong with your action, we want to do it ASAP. Then obviously a project name, some explanation of your action, how it works, like what does it do. It's important for us and for users to understand. And yeah, I'll just pass my URL here. Action API URL means that should be your API that returns a JSON file. If you're not sure, just open the link you're pasting here, and if it's not the action JSON, then it's probably the wrong link. And the Blink URL, the Blink URL is a bit trickier. As I showed previously, you have like 3 ways to share Blink. First one is more technical with Solana -action prefix. The next one is your website with action.json file. And the third one is to use interstitial website, for example, dial.to. And since today I'm going to use interstitial website, I'm just going to take this link that I'm on currently and paste here. So it means that someone who is going to review your action from our team will just use this URL to open it and quickly test, make sure it's like not malicious or something, and approve your action. I'm not going to hit submit right now, just to make sure I'm not flood our queue, not to disrupt the process. I'm just going to whitelist my domain using our internal tool. And I think it's whitelisted. So now it takes a bit of time, like maybe a minute or so, because there is a lot of requests for registry. It needs to we cache it for 1 minute. I think if I disable cache here, I disabled cache just to bypass it, so we don't need to wait 1 minute. And you see, since now my action is trusted, there is no this warning, and which means I can use it to unfurl on x.com. So again, I'll use this link. I'll go to x.com and I'm going to write a tweet. Like building action on a live stream. Please don't click it, and paste this link. And I need to check if I have. I'll show. We have our custom extension to render Blink clients. Why I use this one? Because I'm dev and it has like all up-to-date features. And I think it's again some caching stuff. I'll try to refresh it. Yep. Just bypass the cache, and you see it got rendered. And if you're just a casual user, you use Phantom or Software or Backpack, just make sure it's enabled in your settings, the Solana actions. And if you're a dev, please use our extension. It has like the most bleeding edge features. If you want to develop early, then feel free to use it. We'll also share the link to the extension later. So here it is, action live on the Twitter, and let's check it. It should work same way as it worked previously. Or maybe it will use the mainnet here. I think our extension used the mainnet, and since it's on the devnet, it will not confirm. But I see the NFT is minted. I think it's this one. We can check. Less than a minute ago. It got minted, just it won't confirm on Twitter because it tries to confirm on the mainnet, but our transaction for the devnet. We are planning to add like same switch between devnet, mainnet later, but currently in Twitter there is always a mainnet. Yeah, cool. This is end-to-end experience, and yeah, I know if there is any questions in the chat, I'm happy to answer. If not, I have some insights. I'm really excited to show one more feature we just finished developing yesterday. Uh, it's not yet available in the wallets. So like if you build an action using it, users won't be able to use it yet because wallets take some time to update due to security considerations and stuff like this. But you can develop today, use it on Dialect website. So yeah, I'm really excited to share it. Cool. I guess yeah, I don't see questions in the chat. So yeah,
Maybe just
the features.
have more questions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I mean
Okay.
once you share. Sorry.
Okay. So new features. What coming like literally soon or already released is advanced input types, the action chaining, and message signing. What does it means? The advanced input types allows you to add like a checkbox or a custom input fields with custom validation or numbers also with validation, stuff like this. And it's already live on our website, and I'll show how to use it. The action chaining allows you to change the screens of your Blink by building like you build more endpoints and you can chain them together. And for example, you can achieve this kind of experience. The first screen shows some kind of offer to user or whatever, ask for some information, and then user can proceed to the second screen. I think like I'm really excited about this feature. I think it will open much broader set of use cases very soon. And the message signing coming soon too. Probably it will open more like authentication and interaction with your off-chain APIs, which is also will open a very rich set of use cases, I hope. So okay, I see we have a few minutes left. I'll just show the advanced input types real quick, how it looks like. And yeah, sorry if could be any bugs or something. We just again we released it literally yesterday, maybe yesterday night. So there could be something unexpected, but still, yeah. For this, we need to use links. Links allow us to add more buttons. And previously, who built an action previously, you probably know that there is only input field is supported. But now I'll show, for example, mint NFT. We give a name for our form, and there's parameters. It's array. It always was an array for future usage, and now you see there is a much richer set of variables. Previously, if I remember, there was like I think there was nothing, only name and label. But now there is a type, and type is basically almost everything you saw in the HTML. So it has checkbox, date, email number, select, URL, like literally what everything. And let's say use a text, call it like title, give the label NFT title. For example, we want to allow specify your custom title to the NFT. Yes, we want it required. And let's say we want to add some validation, minimum 3 characters and maximum, let's say 20. And let's say we also want to add one more type. Let's make it a select. we can call it, oh, let's say let's allow our users to specify the rarity of the NFT. Why not? And the options. It accepts an array of options. Yeah, thanks ChatGPT. It generates everything for me. We don't need to write the code, so it will be like a common, rare, legendary. Super cool. And we also want to make it required, and also we can make something selected by default. Let's make it legendary by default. Why not? And let's say one more, we can call it terms. Let's say if we want users to accept our terms of conditions, we make it a checkbox. Yeah, I agree to the terms and conditions. Oh, right. This is how it works. I agree to the terms of conditions. Value. Yes. And it's also required. So let's restart our action. Just copy this URL. And let's open it on, I know why it's not copied, so let's just type it. Yeah, and you see there is a full feature form like this with, you can specify title, and you see there is a validation as well. For example, my cool NFT can specify the rarity, and I agree with terms and conditions, and then the form is available to send. So yeah, and obviously we want to accept these parameters on our backend. How to do it? There is two ways. One is use some kind of URL template method. For example, we can write like title equals to title. It will use this name from the name of the parameter and pass it to the URL. And there is one more option. If you, let's say, forgot or didn't specify it for some reason, it will send the left parameters in the post body request. So I'm not going to modify the mint NFT code. I don't think we have time. I'll just console log the request.data just to make sure, just to show it's sent to the server. And I'm also going to console log request. I need to HTTP request. We want to get the query parameter called title. Yeah. I think yes. No, to refresh the page. And yeah, my cool NFT title, legendary. I'll also open a network tab just to show you the request. It will open the transaction. I'm not going to sign it now, but yeah. So you see it basically used our value that we specified here in the parameter, and it's substituted by the name, and the rest of the parameters sent here. Oh, and select for some reason didn't get sent. As I said, yeah, we like literally shipped this feature yesterday, so it's pretty expected something might not work. We'll fix it later, but yeah, I showed what I want, and I'm really excited about these forms because a lot of people like was asking to build more feature-rich experience and collect like a user address or like whatever information they want. And the new validation approach will allow this. I'm super excited about it.
Oh my god, this is so cool. So you really managed to have a full-fledged form in it. And now you can even have, I don't know, I already see like a user flow where you buy something, put in your address, and get your stuff shipped.
Yeah, like
all
literally
within the
buy any
frame.
physical goods right on Twitter through Blink. Yeah, like
This
this.
is so cool. In the meanwhile, we got in 2 more questions that I would like to
Sure.
ask you. But first of all, congrats. This is so cool. One question I have before. So to use this right now, if I would have the browser extension from Dialect installed, I could already build it with this, right? So the extension from
Yeah.
Dialect has it.
Yes. Yes and no. You can 100% you can build it on our website, and you can use it on Twitter with our Dialect extension. Just not today, because today I just submitted to the Chrome store, and it's take like a day to get approved. So like maybe tomorrow, yes, but not today.
So to all
But
the
yeah,
builders out
it will be
there,
available. Yeah, through our
check the
extension.
recent update of the extension in the Chrome store, and then happy building.
Yeah.
So Shivan was asking, I have my art on Exchange Art, and I want to build a Blink to bid or buy my art. How can I do it?
Yeah, it's more like broader question, but I'd say it would be super cool if Exchange Art would have the Blink support out of the box. If they don't have, please contact Dialect somewhere, and we can help them to build, and you'll just be able to share the URL to your collection using Exchange Art, and your art, like everyone will be able to mint your art with a Blink, and you don't need to write anything if Exchange Art will introduce this feature. If they not, yeah, most likely it will be more trickier for you. Even if you're not dev, you will need to get familiar with Exchange Art SDK, know how to build their transaction and stuff like this. Yeah, so I'm really excited to get as much adoption to all Solana projects as we can. So if Exchange Art want to build Blink support out of the box, please don't hesitate, contact us. We will give some advices.
And also contact them so that they start building.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then there's one more question from Lucas. He says, can we just submit the form without doing a transaction? Or how do I understand the middle step? Maybe we can also talk a bit more about action chaining, how it works in the backend. So
Yeah. So as I said, action chaining not yet uh, developed. I mean, there is a specification, by the way. All these features, it's not like we privately discuss a dialect and decide what to build next. There is forum.solana.com. Every feature is like SRFC, which means Solana RFC, and it's publicly discussed on this forum. So if you know a set of use cases doesn't cover, don't hesitate to like write down a thread on this forum. But yeah, what regarding chaining, it's not yet implemented, but it's accepted. So which means that in terms of the specification, we know how it will work, but it's not yet available on the website. And yeah, Lucas, answering your question, with chaining, at the moment, no, you won't be able to submit a form without transaction signing, because chaining doesn't add like a new uh, submission mechanic. It will just, let's say, allow you to fetch next action after the first one is completed. But with message signing, yes, I hope so. There is no SRFC proposal yet, but your use case 100% makes sense for me, and I guess for everyone in the community. So with message signing and chaining together, yes, it will be possible. But with just chaining, no, because yeah, once again, chaining requires you to sign transaction on every step. For example, to go from this screen to from the first screen to the second screen, you have to sign the transaction. But with message signing, it won't be needed. Yeah. So for your use case, you need to wait for message signing as well. And please check the Solana forum periodically to find when there is proposal out for message signing, and don't hesitate to drop your use case to make sure you're like you heard and no one forgot about your use case. It's important because we develop specification from use cases, and yeah, if you can come up with something else you want to do with Blinks, please just let us know.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. So there's one more question. I already started using my phone because I'm super afraid to close our tab here. The question is, I'm a beginner. Where can I get started? Actually, maybe I can also answer this one because we have resources. I mean, there's tons of resources out there where you can get started, but we have a GitHub repository, or let's say GitLab, Gitbook. Sorry, this is the proper word. Where we put resources together. There's online courses where you can really start learning. And there is a Bridge to Turbine course on Ryzen, for example, which you can find there, where you will even have a lecturer and a teacher that teaches you all that stuff. And then later on, you can proceed in the Turbine course and then really start developing for Solana on blockchain. And also there is online courses which you can basically go through in your pace. There's basically nothing stressing you. You just read it, follow videos, whatever you need. And then after that, you can start finding maybe your open source project where you can start contributing and then go through those steps. How did you, by the way, start, Nick?
It's a good question. I don't know. Like I'm basically probably kind of edge case. I'm more like a sponge. All information I see, I just consume, and I don't know, just get left in my head. So I almost never forget technical stuff. So I know I'm kind of a nerd guy. I'm very interested about the almost any technical problem space. Just consume information, find the source code on the GitHub, for example. Yeah, here's our GitHub called Dialect Labs. There is a bunch of open source code regarding Blinks, and not only about Blinks, just like a huge set of use cases on Solana in general. Feel free to go here, read the code, run it locally, see how it works, play with the stuff, start like modifying the code, and one day you just like realize that you're not modifying the code but writing your own. I know this is what I personally do when I need to learn something new. Just look how professionals doing this, and yeah, tweak the code.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, this is the beauty of Web3, because so many things are open source and you can really go to those huge projects and see how they build their code, how they follow their standards and everything. It's like, yeah, well-written code. If you can start and understand it, I mean, this is basically the best because you already adapt to the best stuff from the best, right? So yeah, I want to be mindful also with your time. We are 10 minutes over already. I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for your questions, for following up. Nick, thank you so much also to the whole Dialect team. You guys are so incredibly awesome. I always love to be in touch with you. It's so cool. And guys, please don't forget, follow Say Dialect on X. Follow us. We are Super Team DE. So for Super Team Germany. And if you have any questions, I'm Bjorn.sol. Just ask. I'm Bjorn.sol on Telegram. I'm Bjorn.sol on X. Just come ping me, send me a DM, and I'm super happy to help you with anything you need. And this rounds up our today's Developers Guild. Thanks again for being here. Thanks, Nick. I hope we will see
Thanks,
us
everyone.
soon again. And then I wish you all a great evening wherever you are, and have a great one. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.